Bumblebee, bumblebee, please come back to me. Bumblebee, bumblebee, please come back to me. You got the sweetest buzz of any bumblebee I ever seen. Here is a beehive, but where are all the bees? They're deep down inside, where nobody can see. But wait, here they come, creeping out of the hive. 1 bee, 2 bee, 3 bees, 4 bees, 5. I have a collection of short stories all about bees. The bee and the pigeon. There once was a bee who found himself stuck on the surface of a pond. He was stuck in the water. His wings had gotten wet and he couldn't get himself to fly into the sky. He struggled and struggled and struggled, but he was going nowhere. Now, just above the pond, sitting on a branch, was a pigeon. And the pigeon looked down. Oh, that poor little bee. He's not going to make it. I'll help him. And the pigeon nibbled on the stem of a leaf. And the leaf fell and began to float and float and float until it landed right on the surface of the pond next to the bee. Well, the bee climbed onto the leaf, dried his wings, and flew away. Now, the very next day, that pigeon was sitting on a branch of a tree in the forest when a hunter came along with his gun, looking for something to shoot, looking for something to kill, something that he could eat. And that's when he saw, a pigeon. Oh, I could have pigeon pie for supper. And he raised his gun. He was just ready to pull the trigger and shoot that pigeon when that little bee came buzzing along, and he saw the hunter and the pigeon who had saved him. He saw the hunter and the pigeon who had saved him, and then he came buzzing down, and he landed and stung that hunter right on his hand. Ow! Boom! And the gun went off in the sky, and the pigeon flew away. Sometimes, if you do something nice for others, others might just do something nice for you. Here's a story called The Bear and the Bees. Bear found out about a hive of bees. Somebody told him there was a hive of bees in a big hollow tree. Oh, I'll go find out for myself. And he went prowling through the woods looking, and he found the big tree, and it was hollow. And there was a giant hive of bees inside. Bzzz, he could hear them, and he could smell the honey. And as he got close, he said, "Bees, give me all of your honey, or I will kill all of you." Oh, the bees didn't like that. "Huh, you try to take our honey and see what happens to you. Get away from here." Well, Bear was not used to having anyone speak to him like that. He did not like anyone to speak to him like that or to disagree with him. Who do they think they are, talking to me like that? And he stuck his head right into that big hollow tree. "I'm gonna take your honey, and then I'm gonna kill all of you." But then those bees began to sting Bear. Sting, 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 sting. Ow! Oh, it hurt. And Bear stuck his head out of that hollow tree, and those bees kept stinging him and stinging him and stinging him and stinging him. And Bear ran as fast as he could. And those bees, they flew after him and they yelled, "Bear, you may be big, but we small ones, we are just as strong." Here's another story. It's called The Lion and the Bee. There was once a lion who was sleeping in the afternoon sun. He had just eaten his meal and he was purring contentedly with his eyes closed. When suddenly, a little bee landed right on his nose. Lion opened up one of his lazy eyes and looked at the bee. "I am king of the jungle. Get off my nose." But the bee didn't move. Lion opened both of his eyes and looked at that bee. "I said I am the king of the jungle. Get off my nose." And that bee just sat on the lion's nose. I wouldn't mind being king of the jungle." And that bee stung Lion right on his nose. Ow! Oh, that hurt. And Lion, I'll kill that bee. And he took his big paw and he went, bam! But the bee flew away. And Lion hit himself on the nose. Oh, that hurt. And bee came down and stung Lion on the cheek. Ouch! And Lion took his paw and went, but the bee flew away. And Lion just smacked himself again. And now bee came and stung Lion right on the top of his... Ouch! Ow! Oh, that hurt bad. And bee kept stinging. And Lion kept swatting. Bee kept stinging and Lion kept swatting. Oh, ow, ow, ow. And after a while, Lion was hurting himself so much that he ran away as quickly as he could. And Bee felt good. I guess I'm king of the jungle now. I can't wait to tell everybody who the real king of the jungle is. But I better rest first. And Bee landed on a bush to rest. And he was so happy. I'm king of the jungle. I'm going to tell everybody that I'm king of the jungle. And as he was sitting there, thinking about himself being king of the jungle, he didn't see that next to him on that bush was a little spider web, a sticky spider web. And Bee got one of his wings stuck on that sticky spider web, and he tried to get loose, and he twisted, and he turned, and now he got his other wing stuck, and he twisted and turned and twisted and turned, but the more he twisted, the more he turned, the more stuck he got on that sticky spider web. And now he was completely stuck when he saw a tiny little spider crawling across that web on his 8 little legs. And that's when Bee realized that he would not be king of the jungle. He would be dinner for the next king of the jungle, that little eensy weensy spider. Here's another story. King Solomon and the Bee. All the people and all the animals considered King Solomon the greatest and wisest of all kings. Well, there was a queen, the Queen of Sheba, who heard about King Solomon. He is so wise. I would like to see how really wise he is. And so she traveled to visit him. Well, King Solomon was pleased. "What can I do for you, Queen of Sheba?" "I would like to test your wisdom. I would like to offer a challenge to see how really smart you are." Of course. And the Queen of Sheba did this. She brought into the king's palace 8 flowers. They were identical. They all looked alike. They all smelled alike. But 7 of them were not real. They were fake. Only one was a real flower. And the queen looked at the king and said, "Tell me, O mighty king, just look at the flowers and tell me which one is the real one." Well, the king looked and smelled. They looked alike. They smelled alike. The queen smiled. Just wait. Give me time, said the king. The king thought and walked to his window and opened it and looked outside at the garden below, where there were wasps and butterflies and bees all buzzing around the flowers. And he walked back into the room. Oh, just give me a little time and let me think about this. And the king waited and looked at the window. He waited and looked at the window. He waited and looked at... In through that window came a tiny little bee, and that bee came buzzing around the room, buzz, 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 and landed on one of the flowers. And King Solomon turned to the Queen of Sheba and said, "Oh, Queen, that is the real flower." And the Queen looked at the king and said, "Indeed, King Solomon, you are the wisest of all the kings." Bumblebee, bumblebee, don't be gone so long. Bumblebee, bumblebee, don't be gone so long. You're my bumblebee, I want you here back home. I hope you enjoy those short stories all about bees. And you might want to know that I got all these short stories as a gift. A gift from a real live storytelling fairy godmother. Before she left New Jersey, a woman named Carol Titus gave those stories in a book to me. It was a book about bugs. What a great, great gift. And the song, Bumblebee Blues, well, you know that's Memphis Minnie's. So you know Memphis You don't know who Memphis Minnie is? Well, get to YouTube and listen to Memphis Minnie sing the blues.